Hello everyone, and this is my review for WWE NXT on February 18th, 2015. And this is, of course, the Fallout show from the NXT Takeover Rival show, and I did kind of like where they were going with some of this stuff. Then there wasn't really too much that I can't really say I didn't like about the show to begin with. I will talk about one thing that I didn't really like, and it's nothing major in the end. I liked the beginning of the show with how Kevin Owens started talking about in his promo about how his time with Sami Zayn was up, and now his focus is on the new #1 contender, which is of course Finn Balor. And that promo definitely came off really well, and you know, as expected, they have to play up those injuries on Sami Zayn for a long period of time. So more than likely they'll keep him off the show for a little while, see where they where they're going to go with that. But more than likely, in some way, shape, or form, they're not done with the Sami Zayn Kevin Owens storyline. But it will be interesting to see how they work a Finn Balor Kevin Owens storyline. But even though now it seems like there might be a mini storyline for Finn Balor, because after Rhyno, who made his return into any kind of WWE fashion on NXT this week, and his very quick match that he had, also had not an altercation but a stare down with Finn during Finn's promo backstage, which was basically them kind of setting up this little side storyline with Finn Balor, because of course he was talking about how he was going to go after the NXT title and everything, and now you get to stare down with them, so you expect some kind of side storyline between the two of them, and that could be a very interesting one if they decide to go that route with it. So we'll see where they actually go with it, and see how things go off in the end. So next you had Enzo Amore going up against and Colin Cassidy, or Big Cass, going up against the Von Villains, and this match was actually kind of fun. It was a relatively short one, but it was a really fun one, and this is definitely a good way of if they're gonna build Enzo Amore and Colin Cassidy towards a potential tag team title match. This was a pretty good way of doing it, and I thought it came off really well, at least match-wise. The afterwards is the one little spot on the show that I'll go off and say I didn't necessarily like, and that's because Blake and Murphy, they're kind of raw, very raw. And I don't mean in the terms of the WWE show raw, but in the terms of their promo abilities and everything like that. They're not good right now. Obviously, they had a plan for the Lucha Dragons going up to the main roster at this point, but these two, they're not quite ready there. Their promo that they did to go after Enzo and Big Cass, and of course they did a lot of their talk about Carmella, it just did not come off well. And over time, they can probably get better, and that's the thing about NXT. They're supposed to be in development, and these two guys are definitely there on the development side. They definitely need a lot of work, so we'll see. We'll see if they can improve, and we'll see where their promo skills go down in the future. Also, maybe even match-wise as well. It'll be interesting to see how they work these two teams together, and we'll see how far they are more than willing to go with this in some way, or are they going to continue with a potential breakup of Big Cass and Enzo down the line, which they have been I would say kind of teasing, but they really didn't fully tease it with in the past. So we'll see where they go along with this. You had Sasha Banks going up against Ye Old Blue Pants, is what they call her in WWE. Obviously, Leva Bates, I believe her name is. Actually, they allow this to be a lot more of a fun match, and it was also a good way to show a vicious side of Sasha Banks as well in there. And this was, this was a relatively fun and entertaining match to watch. So that was definitely a good way for them to go. They allow both women to show off what they can, a little bit of what they can do, and it came off pretty well. So we'll see where Sasha's next storyline is going to be. Obviously, they're going to probably do something to finish her time off with Charlotte, and then we'll see where her next storyline is going to lead into. Next, you have CJ Parker coming out, trying to occupy or take over the show, which. You know, the CJ Parker character, kind of like. I do kind of like the where he goes with everything. You know, how he initially was going off as this big little hippie face and everything, and then eventually turns it into a full heel turn and everything on that aspect. I liked where they went with that character. Obviously, they don't do too terribly much with him. They kind of use him as the debut, as a debut guy. And that's what they did here. I believe I've never seen this guy. Then again, I don't get too much time to watch the independent wrestling all that much. But I believe his name was Solomon Crow. I haven't looked up anything of his. I might do that here in the very near future. So it'll be interesting to see where this character goes when he comes in and what he fully is, because all you've seen is his look. And the fact that he attacked CJ Parker, he hasn't really talked about anything. You don't have a full backstory about him, so we'll see where they're gonna go with his backstory here in the very near future. And this leads into what was the final portion of the show, which was of course the main event match with Kevin Owens and Adrian Neville. Again, these two put on a really, really good match. I enjoyed this match thoroughly. The spots that they put in there, especially Adrian Neville's deadlift of Kevin Owens into a German suplex, was a great spot in the match. And, you know, it just goes off to show that they're trying to push Kevin Owens in a way that he seems like an unstoppable brute in some fashion. It's like, even though he got beaten up a bit in this match, he was that guy who would continue to come back and continue to come back. I know they're putting him off as a heel character and everything, but in every sense of the word, even though, well, kind of heel in the terms of who he goes after, but maybe not heelish in his in what his desires are. Because obviously his backstory is that he will fight anyone and everyone and win at any cost to better things for his family. I like where they kind of have him as a face-ish storyline, but he kind of goes after all the good guys in that case. So we'll see how much further they go along with that, and if they are deciding to keep Finn Balor around Rhyno in any way. We'll see if they have some kind of sub-storyline for Kevin Owens here in the near future as well. So we'll see. So we'll definitely see where they go with all that. Like I said, I thoroughly enjoyed this main event. It was a great match. It was fun to watch. And outside of the Blake and Murphy stuff, NXT this week was really good again, and that's definitely something that you want to see them do really well with their shows, and they're being well put together and everything in that sense. But they don't necessarily give you everything in the terms of either storyline build or. You have to have a 5-star match in every show. You don't have to necessarily have a 5-star match on every show, but you at least have to have some really good ones. And you do get that every week on NXT. So that's really something I thoroughly enjoy about the NXT show. So that's my review this week for NXT, and I thank you guys for watching.